But have a listen to this.
Democrats, grow a spine, trans lives are on the line. Our genders are no debate. Our genders are no debate. Speaker Johnson, Nancy May.
And it's no wonder people feel emboldened to do this when they have so-called influencers spreading messages like this.
Trans women are more afraid of you in the bathroom than you are of us. Every time we step foot in a woman's bathroom, there's fear. Fear that someone will attack us or accuse us of something we didn't do. But why don't we just use the men's room, you say? Well, it's because it's about more than just the bathrooms. This is about the world accepting us for the women that we are.
Stephanie, this is truly frightening but also sickening at the same time. But the fact trans people are going to so much effort in order to enter women's only spaces, what does that tell you?
Look, the entitlement is extraordinary. And I think that we have seen this over and over again, the bullying tactics, the determination to force women to move aside and to acquiesce to their demands for our spaces. It's not equality to tell women that they're not entitled to single-sex spaces. Men have their own private bathrooms. If they're not comfortable using those, they can use multi-purpose single-unit facilities. They're widely available. But it is incredibly wrong. I'm just so pleased to see what's happening in the US with Nancy Mace and the common sense approach. And I hope we can see that happen more around the globe.
But I mean, we look here in Australia, as we know, we had those self-ID laws passed in parts of the country, here in New South Wales, the most recent, where you don't need to change your birth certificate in order to identify. I mean, this is where we're heading to, Stephanie. How concerning is this?
These laws have been a great concern because obviously it entrenches this ideology further into law, and it makes it harder for women to push back, particularly when they're being dragged to court, and women increasingly are being dragged to court when they do push back. So I'm really hoping that with the new LNP in Queensland and commitments from Libby Mettam in WA, that we can see some common sense emerge. I think that this is, as the issues evolve from these laws and the court cases increase and the harm to women increase, I'm sure that there'll be a change in the future. It's just how much damage needs to be done first.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. It's frightening. Now, look, an NHS Trust in the UK that has been accused of spreading misinformation by claiming that transgender women could breastfeed as effectively as new mothers has backflipped on that stance because of a backlash, of course. Now, it follows guidelines drawn up by the Trust, which advise that trans women may be able to induce lactation. Stephanie, it has taken the NHS how long to realise that men can't actually breastfeed?
Well, it's taken them too long, but better late than never. Unfortunately, we have similar issues in Australia. Jasmine Sussex is a breastfeeding specialist who's being dragged to court for saying that men cannot chest feed, and they can't. But unfortunately, the Australian Breastfeeding Association and organisations like the Royal Women's Hospital in Melbourne are saying that they can, all to appease men that want to indulge in this idea, this fetish that they can be women and they can chest feed their babies. And it's incredibly concerning, disturbing even, when you consider the fact that there is a lack of data on the safety and nutritional value that's being fed to these infants.
And that is exactly right. This is the problem, is we don't have any data on it. And let's be realistic, men can't actually breastfeed. Stephanie Bastiaan, really good to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Absolute pleasure.